For many of us, there's a two-letter word that carries so much significance in a relationship. But for many of us, that two-letter word is so difficult for us to say that it's almost like we freeze up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically when we attempt to say the word out of our mouths. But the word is the foundation for healthy relationships, regardless of what that relationship is, whether it's a relationship with your child, whether it's a relationship with your significant other, your employer, your employees, or your co-workers. But why can't we say the word at all? I think the association with the word is what prevents us from saying the word. The word is simply no. For those of you who have no difficulty saying the word no, then maybe this is not for you. But keep on listening because it may help someone else that you know who has difficulty saying no. No means no. That's what we heard growing up, especially from parents. Your parents would say no means no, which means that's the end all and be all of your request. If you wanted something and your parents said no, you understood no, unless you had a parent that vacillated and instead of saying no, the parent would say, let me think about it. Let me think about it is different than saying no. But when your parents said no, it meant no. So when did we cross over to the dark side? When did we get into relationships and realize that, you know what, saying no is really a bad thing? When did no become such a horrific thing to say to someone in a relationship? Let me tell you when no became such a bad thing for most of us. It became a bad thing because the no is not about the behavior. The no is about how we feel. Let me say that again. The no is about how we feel when we refuse to say no to the person that we're dealing with. As a parent, when I often did not want to say no to my son, it's because I felt a sense of guilt, or I felt the sense that I wanted to spoil him, or I really wanted to give him the thing that he was asking for, or that my daughter was asking for. So if I had difficulty with the word no, it had nothing to do with the person asking me. It had more to do with how I was feeling. So in that case, no becomes my thing. It doesn't become a thing for the other person. Do you understand that? A lot of people feel that they have difficulty saying no because they cannot say no to that person. It has nothing to do with the person that you have to say no to. It has everything to do with you. Why are you refusing to say no when you know no can shut so many things down? No can insert so many boundaries in your relationship, and no can help you set a healthy boundary within your relationship. If you understand that a healthy relationship is built on the foundation of the word no, then why would you have difficulty saying it? Yes, the difficulty you have saying no to the partner or the person you're in a relationship with is because you don't want to hurt their feelings, or you don't want them to believe that you're incapable of doing the impossible thing they're asking. So it's a pleasing thing. You become is a matter of you wanting to please them, or a matter of you putting them above yourself. You don't want this person to be put out, but you put yourself out so you can please that person. Does that make sense, to put yourself out at the expense of another person? Because once you start that, like I have a saying, my sister tells me this all the time, you don't start nothing, there won't be nothing. So the behavior that is exhibited by your significant partner, once they recognize, it's no different than your child or children. The moment a child realizes that they can ask you and they can keep on asking, all of a sudden you're like, son, no, no. And then they're like, and they push through that point of your no. At some point, your resistance breaks down and you're like, okay, maybe, or leave me alone. I'll see what I can do. No, in a relationship, it is a matter of boundaries. It is a matter of setting healthy boundaries so that those healthy boundaries can result in a healthy relationship. Do you want to continue having a relationship that is not healthy? Or do you want to set clear boundaries in your relationship where you know that that person understands where you're coming from and you understand that you're capable of keeping your word and being true to yourself? The other thing about saying no in relationships, or the inability to say no, is because a lot of times you're saying no because you know in your heart of hearts that you are an enabler. Yes, you are an enabler. You want that person to continue behaving a certain way. So therefore you don't say no because you want their love, and you seem to get more of their love when you don't say no. And the more love they show you based on the fact that you're giving and giving and giving, you don't even realize in that moment that you're giving so much that that person is taking. And the person is taking more than you're giving, but you're happy with what they're giving you because that gives you a certain sense of comfort. And really and truly is a false sense of comfort. And then you get to the end of the relationship and you're like, you know what? I spoiled this person. I spoiled them rotten. And now I don't know how to correct the behavior. And then you start saying no. And what do you meet with the moment you start saying no? After you spoiled this person in the relationship, after you've capitulated time and time again, then you finally decide, I'm going to put this boundary in place. I'm a firm believer that boundaries should be put in place from the beginning. As a couple, as a parent, as whatever the relationship is, you need to set clear boundaries from the beginning of the relationship. Those boundaries can be set in the middle of the relationship or towards the end of the relationship, because then it doesn't have the same value or the same impact in the relationship. So the boundary of no for you should be one that is set from the onset. If you happen to fall away from that boundary and you start capitulating to the other person, then you're losing yourself. And every time you lose a part of yourself, you also lose a part of that person, because that person has been trained by you. And they've been trained to behave badly by you, or to expect certain expectations because you set that tone. Saying no is not a bad thing. It may not always be the easiest thing, but you have to think about the other person. You should not be thinking about yourself when you're setting the boundary of no. And I think that's a big problem in relationships. A lot of times we think about our own emotions. We think about the disappointment we feel by not being able to deliver something to the person we love. Or we feel badly when we can't deliver the thing that this person is asking for. But is it a realistic expectation to always say yes, even when you should say no? I think you already know the answer to that. That's why you're watching this video. Start by setting a healthy boundary. Instead of looking at it as disappointment or a feeling of guilt or a feeling of remorse or a feeling of inadequacy or a feeling of not being loved, learn to say no, because it is the opposite of all those things. If you are able to say no, you're also able to say, I want a healthy relationship. I want to be loved correctly. I want to teach this person how to love me correctly. I want to set a realistic expectation in our relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether you're a parent, whether you're a child, whether you're an employer or employee. Setting realistic boundaries and expectations is more important than setting yourself up for failure. The failure of feeling inadequate is indeed a real thing. And many people feel inadequate within a relationship when they cannot control the relationship or the relationship has gotten out of control. To avoid these things, it is necessary to learn to say no. No is a very healthy boundary, and it is one that you should practice for yourself first. And then the other person benefits because you will set the stage of what to expect and what will be given to you in your relationship. Today starts today. Learn to say no. It's a 2-letter word. It's one of the most powerful words in the English dictionary, and is one of the most powerful boundaries that you can set in any relationship. Today, there's no better time than now. Start now. I hope this helped you. My name is Ingrid Felton. As always, it's a pleasure having you stop by and watching my videos. If you can benefit from this in any way, share it with someone else. Please subscribe to the videos, like the videos, comment as always, and please visit my website, thejourneyoftruth.com. Remember, there's no better time to start than the present time. Today you can say no, understanding who it will affect and who it will benefit. Thank you.